Hey everyone, Lex Leanos with Compass in Northern Virginia. Before we get into the video, please do me a favor and subscribe below. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 mistakes to avoid when we're dealing with a home inspection. Home inspection is a great idea to have. It's not always possible in this hyper-competitive market, but in general, it's a great idea to have because you get a total comprehensive view of the condition of the property. So that can either inform you on whether to even move forward with the purchase or to get a list of deficiencies with which you can then negotiate with the seller. And for sellers, a pre-inspection, which sometimes is a great idea, gives you an overview of what buyers are going to find when they do their own inspection, and will give you a punch list to do repairs in preparation for market. All right, here we go. Number 1, not researching the inspector. I mean, this may go without saying, but don't just rely on a quick Google search to find your home inspector. Get a recommendation from your realtor or from another top producing realtor on home inspectors in conjunction with your research online. Somebody who has a lot of positive reviews, obviously, but really dig down into them. Read what the reviews say. Don't just go by the number of stars or how many reviews they have. A few questions to ask the inspector. Number 1, how long have you been inspecting properties? Number 2, how many inspections have you done? Number 3, what are your qualifications, certifications, and training? And finally, number 4, what was your job before you were inspector? Preferably they were a contractor or builder or something in the home construction trades. Number 2, not attending the inspection. Now, while it's not required that you attend the inspection, I highly recommend you do so. You're going to want to set aside either the entire morning or afternoon. These things do take hours, somewhere between 1 and 4 hours, depending on the size of the home and the inspector. But you really get a great in-depth view of the property. You can ask questions of the inspector. The inspector is going to explain, how certain systems work, where the shutoffs are, some really important information. So it's best to attend and not just rely on the written or emailed report from the inspector. Number 3, not reading the report. Okay, this is not something you just want to scan and say, oh yeah, that's fine, it's fine, it's fine. You want to dig into it, read the report, see what the inspector said, because in addition to what the deficiencies that they're going to point out or problems with the house, they're also going to explain suggestions about maybe grading or gutters or something to that effect, or routine maintenance items. So you're really going to want to read it thoroughly and keep it forever for reference. One thing that I recommend when you're choosing an inspector, ask to look at what the reports that they typically provide for their inspections. So you're going to want to look, hire an inspector that produces clear, concise, but thorough and detailed reports. Number 4, and this is for sellers, not getting a pre-inspection could be a big mistake. Now, I don't always recommend them, but if the house has a lot of deferred maintenance that's obvious when I walk through the house, I will recommend a pre-inspection. The reason I don't always recommend it is because if you hire 3 different inspectors, you're going to get 3 different lists of items. Now that may seem crazy, but different inspectors focus on different things. They also recommend slightly different things, but 75% of the lists are going to be consistent across all 3 inspectors. So if your house needs a fair amount of work and your real estate agent recommends it, I would think that would be a great idea to do a pre-inspection. You pay, the seller pays the inspector to come in. It'll give you a punch list for things to do to prep the house for sale. Number 5, this is also for sellers, not preparing the home for the inspection. Most sellers know the home inspector is coming and get the house ready for the inspector. But you're going to want to maybe change some filters. You're going to want to make the important systems accessible. You don't want to, like for example, some people have pictures on top of electrical panels, or maybe they've even put a piece of wood across on top of the electrical panel. They have stacked a bunch of boxes in front of the water heater, that type of thing. You're going to want to move all that stuff out of the way so the inspector can get to the systems they need to get to. If they can't access a particular system or area, they're going to flag that as inaccessible, and that's going to put a question mark in the buyer's mind. So you want to make sure that the inspector has access to everything they need to see. If you have any more questions about that, ask me or ask your realtor. A question that I usually get from sellers is, should I be home or should I be out of the house at the time of the inspection? I recommend being out of the house. In my opinion, this is the buyer and their inspection and their agent's time in the house. But if you want to greet the inspector at the door, give them your phone number, and then wish them a good inspection and leave, that would be just fine. Also, another note for sellers, if you do get a pre-inspection, please hire a licensed contractor to do those repairs. Don't do a DIY, try to fix it yourself, unless you're really handy, because inspectors are going to see that it was done by the homeowner as opposed to being done by a professional, just the quality of workmanship. I hope these things were helpful to you if you're going to be getting an inspection or you own a house where you're going to be selling and getting an inspection. As always, we'd love to talk to people about real estate. The number and email are on the screen. Don't hesitate to contact us. Have a great day. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.